I said, come on in the trailer. And then Matt Damon walks in and I start doing all this like crazy, the prosthetics on the back of his head, the tattoos. And so they're talking about poker and all this fun stuff. And Chris is just like, this is crazy.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Den of Horror. You're about to see the final part of a fascinating conversation I had with one of Hollywood's most prominent makeup and prosthetic designers, Sarah Rubano. I cannot tell you how grateful and honored I am to have had the opportunity to sit down with her. Her accounts of her collaborations with people such as James Cameron, Neill Blomkap and Ty West, her experiences that she shared with us working on movies such as The Mammoth Avatar, The Way of Water, as well as risky and daring horror movies such as 30 Days of Night, X and Pearl, has been absolutely fascinating to listen to. So thank you to Sarah for sharing with us all of these wonderful experiences. In today's episode, she will give some valuable advice to aspiring makeup artists, and she also shares a funny story involving her brother and Matt Damon. And if that is not enough for you, I'll also throw Sarah into the deep end with some unprepared quick-fire questions. I hope you enjoy.
Gaze into the abyss.
Do you get a sense when you work on a movie like X, surely with the bigger movies certainly, but with a movie like X, for example, do you get a sense that you're working on something particularly special, something that's going to resonate?
That's a good question, because often you're working on something and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be a hit. Like, whoa, watch out, world, like, watch out. And then the movie comes out and you're like, it didn't, editing is such a big part of it all, and music and all of that. And so sometimes you're like, oh, it just didn't quite get there. And so you can think while you're shooting it, it's going to be the cat's pajamas, and then it's not necessarily. And it doesn't do well at the box office and stuff. But then sometimes you'll be working on something and you're like District 9, like, holy shit, I hope they can pull something together with all this. And then you see it and you're like, oh my God, what? And so it's really hard to know, it really is hard to know, because, you've got pre-production, you've got production, and then you got post-production, and a lot happens in post-production. And so if that doesn't all go as per, then sometimes it just doesn't come together. So I'm a big believer in like the post-production portion of all of it needs to be. And so I think for, especially for Ty West, he's editing, he's, figuring out the music. He is heavily involved in the post-production aspect, which is why I think his films do so well. And he has such a profound and in-depth understanding of movie making and what he wants. So he's got his head wrapped around every stage of the way, the pre-production, the production, the post. And so I think that shows in the end, for sure.
Great answer. You have like friends and family come over to you and say, hey, Sarah, could you quickly do my makeup for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Like my family, they're like, can we just come to set and, meet this person, or what's it like? And yeah, it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting for my family who don't work in the film industry. I remember on Elysium, my brother, Chris, he's a doctor. He's a surgeon, my little snotty brother. And I invited him up for a day and he came to visit. It was quite a big base camp, and we were doing a factory scene, and he was like, he's like, what is this? He's like, this is massive. And he couldn't believe it. He had never been on a movie set. He'd never seen, base camp and all of that. And he was just blown away. And then I said, come on in the trailer. And then Matt Damon walks in and I start doing all this like crazy, the prosthetics on the back of his head, the tattoos. And so they're talking about poker and all this fun stuff. And Chris is just like, this is crazy. And then, I'm going to take, Chris on a tour of, the factory and the set. And all of a sudden I turn around and Matt's taking him off. He's taking him for a personal tour. And so So that was really exciting for my brother. It's fun to have like those little moments with family and friends as they integrate into like our very surreal, our very surreal world of filmmaking.
Your last official question, Sarah, then I promise you I'm going to let you go.
That's all right. All good. Great.
What advice would you give someone who wants to sort of take the path that you have taken? What advice would you give an upcoming makeup artist?
Yeah, well, I'm currently doing a mentorship program with the Last Looks podcast, and that's Jamie Lee McIntosh. That's her program. So I'm mentoring 2 young ladies right now currently, and so it's been awesome. I've just thoroughly enjoyed it. We have a couple sessions left, but what I say to them is work hard, show up, don't be late. Look for stuff to do, take initiative, be positive, be a positive part of the team, be resilient, and be the easy one. As far as just being, don't be a complicated entity on the team. And if you do that, if you work hard at your craft, if you're constantly growing and putting time, investing time of your own into your creative growth, and then you have that other area sorted, you're going to do well. So that's my advice.
Okay, basically be professional and be the easy one to work with.
Yeah, totally.
Great. Okay, I'd like to ask you some quick fire questions. So your first question is, who wins in a fight? Major from Ghost in the Shell or Maxine from X?
Oh, Maxine from Max. Heck yeah. Hell yeah.
Awesome. Name 3 movies you didn't work on that you would have loved to work on.
Young Frankenstein. I would have loved to do I, Tanya. I almost got that job and I was gutted not to do it. Tropic Thunder.
CGI or practical effects?
Oh, practical effects. Hell yeah. Yeah. Without a doubt, all the way, man. Practical, hell yeah.
Love to hear it. Favorite snack to watch movies to?
Thin sliced pizza.
Hot or cold?
Melty cheese, so hot. Yeah.
Okay, movie that you've seen more than any other?
I think Tropic Thunder.
Sarah Rubano's favorite horror movie?
Now that X has come out, I would say X. Prior to X, I like the original Freddy Krueger film, so Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, that scared me when I was a kid, but I still think of it in a very nostalgic way. So
Sarah Rubano's favorite music?
Oh shit, there's so much. The Footloose soundtrack. Hey, I'm in full 80s method mode, so yeah, Footloose.
If you could go back to the golden age of horror and work on one of these 3 films, which one would it be? The Wolfman, Frankenstein, or Dracula?
The Wolfman. And I think because there is a lot of fabrication and makeup aspect to that. So yeah, I mean, I just love the dance between makeup and fabrication. Yeah.
You don't know how happy that makes me, because The Wolfman is the whole reason why I love horror movies. Favorite slasher movie from the 80s? You said A Nightmare on Elm Street. Would you have liked to have worked on that movie?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I mean, that was so cool. Like Robert Englund and all that, for sure. That would have been super cool.
One true life character, dead or alive, you would like to bring to the screen from a makeup perspective?
Iggy Pop would be a great one, because he was quite distressed and moody in his appearance, and that's kind of my jam. So let's say Iggy Pop.
I could put my 10 cents in. I would love to see Sarah Rubano recreate Kurt Cobain.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, let's try to manifest that. Dan, you can help me.
Sarah, I just want to say thank you so much for doing this interview with me and chatting with me. It was wonderful to chat with you and get your insights on the world of movies and the the world of makeup. Is there anything for the viewers out there that you would like to speak about? You spoke a little bit about your mentoring program. Is there a website that you would like us to check out? Anything like that?
Keep going to the movies, like keep going to the theater, keep being supporters of practical makeup effects, keep that world alive. It'd be a very sad thing to see everything go VFX. So keep the love for practical makeup effects, and keep going to the movies. So yeah, those are my parting words. Yeah, it's been a pleasure seeing you again, Den, and thank you so much for having me on your show. You're fabulous. So it's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
No, it's absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Gaze into the abyss.